People left somewhat disappointed, maybe, by the launch in New Jersey, but there are many reasons for the current results, which are not up to expectations. But there's many reasons for them, as I said, and we're going to be talking about them during this panel. On our panel today, we've got very happy to have Steve McLouglin, Max Value Software. We've got Alfonso Villar from PlaySpace.com, and we've got Alan Petrelli, who's from Income Access, more on the affiliate side. So we're going to be talking about affiliates, social, poker, and how all the three, plus obviously all the other verticals, come into play to address the US market. Just to kick things off, though, each panelist is going to introduce themselves, their company, and give their take on what's going on in the market. So let's get things started with Alan.
Hi, everyone. So as I was introduced, I'm head of affiliates at Income Access. Obviously, pre-2006, we were very big in the U.S. market. Post-UEGA, we decided to obviously look at the European market, and I'm sure most of you have worked with us in some capacity, whether as an affiliate with the programs we push, as an operator working on our software. So yeah, I'd say over the last year or so, we've obviously been heavily involved in the growth of the U.S. market, obviously primarily working really closely in New Jersey with a lot of the operators on running their affiliate platform and managing a couple of their brands. Like I said, I think the purpose of putting this together and talking to all of you is there's a perception in the U.S., especially in European affiliates, that U.S. is solely New Jersey and real money gaming. But what we've seen over the last year is you have New Jersey, you have real money. You also have social gaming, which is why we have Alfonso here, which is an insanely big industry, growing very, very quickly. And we're seeing affiliates of all sizes starting to get involved and make some serious headway there. And then obviously there's fantasy sports in the U.S., which we run some programs on our software, somewhat notable like FanDuel, which is doing incredibly well in the U.S. And on top of that, horse racing is legal in the majority of the states as well, and we're seeing some big successes there. So as an affiliate, when you look at the U.S. market, there's real money, and then there's also a lot of other areas where you can be making commissions and getting involved in that community a little bit early, so that once it starts opening up in different states and the market grows, then you already have your foot in the door and you're doing well there. So that was the purpose of us kind of putting this together, and I guess my stance on why we're getting involved quickly in the U.S.
Hello. I'm Alfonso Villar, CEO and co-founder at PlaySpace.com. When we found the company, we thought if players were really like to buy virtual chips or virtual cows into a farm, why don't we can bring social casino games to the social platforms or mobile space? So that's when we came with PlaySpace. We bring social casino games to mobile devices and social platforms. We born as a company on Facebook.com. Then we moved to mobile. So now I can play bingo game on my tablet against my mom, who is at home playing at the desktop. And the good thing here is that they play for fun. Okay. In 3 years, we started a company for developers. Right now, we are almost 30 people. We have reached more than 10 million registered players around the world. We have almost 200K daily active users. And the good thing is that people is playing and paying for fun, and we are already profitable in just 3 years. So I came here to bring my experience on the social gaming for affiliates. That it's a really good opportunity for everyone. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stephen McLouglin. I'm with Max Value Software. Max Value is a new company. We just recently merged two other companies together as Hold'em Manager and Poker Tracker. We're software developers for the poker market. Players use our software. It's basically middleware between the player and the online poker room. Our job is to keep players in their seats, keep them active, keep them engaged, keep them playing as many hours as possible. We've been doing this for 13 years now. We started in the U.S. We're a U.S.-based company, but serving worldwide. And as time goes on, obviously, Black Friday changed the industry for us. And I'm here today to talk about how these changes affected us and how we move forward and how we're still able to serve within the market.
Okay, thank you all for that. Okay, well let's get things started. We're going to start. Cool. We're going to start with Alan and Alfonso. Maybe more on their emphasis on the social side of things. I mean, like you say, Alan. I mean, it's not just about poker or New Jersey in the US. Social is massive. What do affiliates need to know about the US social scene? Whether it's from income access point of view or play-specific point of view, and how the two can meld together.
I think the first misconception about social is, the margins are low. There's not a lot of money in it. Players come in, they deposit $1.99, 99 cents, $5. You can monetize some of them up to 25, 30, whatever that is. We've run a couple of campaigns with some of the social brands. Like some of you may know, maybe not all of you, we launched over the last 8 months 5 social brands in our network. We're probably hopefully going to be around 7 or 8 by the end of the year. It's definitely been a big focus of ours. And you're starting to see affiliates from Europe getting involved because while the margins are a little bit lower in terms of what you're monetizing a player at, if you have traffic in the US that you're currently sitting on and not doing anything with, you can monetize it on a CPL of $1, $1.50, depending on, some will go higher. And if you have, a lot of traffic sitting there you're not doing much with, if you're able to send 400 or 500 players a day, and I know that sounds quite a lot, but we've seen some affiliates do it on the regular, you're making quite a good amount of commission daily or monthly. In terms of on a CPL, so even if that that stuff doesn't convert, you're still making decent money. Obviously, for social brands, we want it to convert well, and we've seen the conversion rates in line with what most social brands are seeing from the rest of the traffic they're sourcing. So, as an affiliate, you have quite a good opportunity to use the traffic that you have that you're currently sitting on or not converting, and send it somewhere to make money on it now, which I think is the importance of it. So while you're not going to see the revenues that you might see from your typical big whale in real money, there are quite a lot of big whales in social, as I'm sure Alfonso can attest to, that spend a whole lot of money playing social gaming that you can make money off of. So I'll let him go a little bit more into that, but it's definitely more lucrative of an industry than I think most people know and that are thinking about it.
Yes, the important thing here is that, with social gaming space, you have lower RPUs, you have lower conversions, however, it's a massive market. Okay, the social gaming industry is almost 1 billion monthly active users right now. Three times the people of Spain is playing Candy Crush Saga on a daily basis. Okay, and is generating $7 million per day. Kaisers Interactive, for example, is generating with their social casino games almost $1 million per day. So it's a huge market. Social casino games represents the 10% of the social gaming space. And for example, Facebook, the 50% of their gaming revenues of all the game environment they have came from social casino games. So it's a huge market. However, it's a different concept of gaming. Here, people play for fun, as I already told you, and maybe it's similar. The good thing here is this maybe similar demographics. Like the good thing is that you have women, you have male. Depending on the game you want to target on the market as well. But you see really low conversion rates. However, you have RPUs from $20 up to $60. Okay, and the affiliate market is going to rise up, I think, because the user acquisition costs are skyrocketing. Okay, in all platforms. Nowadays, I think that one user could cost you only the download in mobile space could cost you from $1 to $3. So social gaming companies are looking for new channels to acquire the players. Okay, the good thing is that the social gaming developers work on a performance base. So affiliate marketing is a really good chance for them. We start with affiliates 1 year ago, and 10% of revenues came from affiliates. But however, I have heard from other companies that they are paying per month more than 50,000 euros per month to affiliates as social gaming companies. So it's a huge market. It's a huge opportunity there. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit.
No, I mean, I would think the question to ask is how many of you either use or play social gaming or have a wife or a girlfriend or a cousin who does. I think every one of you would probably raise your hand in here and know someone or yourself who uses it. If you want a show of hands, who does in here? Or your girlfriend does, or your wife does, or... So I think that, the majority of people are using it. I can attest my girlfriend plays it all the time. I tried it out, and I truly enjoy it. So I think there's definitely a market for it. And as Alfonso said, affiliates are becoming more important. So
yes, the social game space have changed the gaming industry on radical. Like when you think on a gamer, you think about 18 years old guy with black T-shirt, beard, playing Call of Duty. Right now, my mom is playing social games. My mom is playing social bingo every day. Also, social players play not only play one game per day, but they play from 1 to 5 games per day, and almost 1 hour per day as well. So,
thanks for that. I mean, in terms of, have to ask about regulation because New Jersey, for example, all the suppliers have to be regulated, affiliates have to be regulated. Are there any of those kinds of issues with regards to social, or is it a fairly open space at the moment and, get in there early and then maybe see what happens after? Is that the kind of the play that you're talking about?
A lot of these have been discussed these past years about regulation of social games. However, a lot of studies have convinced that players pay for fun and play for fun. Like, it's a different concept of gaming. Also, I think the regulation would come from biggest platforms like Google Play changing their policies of in-app purchases, or Facebook or iOS. So in that concept, because are free games, okay? So everyone can play that kind of free game. So 1 month ago, Google changed on Europe the policies as well. So I think the regulation will come more from that side than from regulators, I think.
Oh, right, okay. And in terms of the marketing to be on, whether it's the App Store, Google Play, it is costly. You have to have resources, technology behind you. How easy or hard would it be for new entrants to get into that space from that regard?
Yes, I think it's different. We born as company on Facebook, okay? So we average of our company is 28 years old. So all of our developers, they develop their own games at home when they come to the company. So and it's difficult to market for sure. Okay, it could be the market has changed. Maybe it's easy to develop a game, publish the game, but the most difficult thing here is to the visibility on the app stores, on the Google Play.
The what? Oh, the visibility.
Visibility, yes, is the most difficult thing, and also the monetization and the retention is difficult. Are the key concepts of the mobile game, of the freemium games.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, Steve, moving on to you. Obviously, poker is the product you're into. At the moment, with casino games in New Jersey, is the other main vertical that is regulated. Some difficulties. People have moaned about regulations in Jersey. What's your take on the situation there? And also, as you say, you're kind of middleware between a couple of different parties.
I think there was a lot of expectation about the New Jersey market, a lot of excitement. Our industry tends to act sort of like an echo chamber. We get ourselves overexcited. But in reality, I think the natural progression is taking place. New Jersey's over time, become a very robust market. It will, but it takes good management. It takes good affiliation. It takes the incentives to bring the players back to the table. The biggest problem in New Jersey right now is, oddly enough, payment processing. And as time goes on and that problem is solved, I guess from an affiliate's point of view, the time is to get in now. Establish your foothold, and as the payment processing problems are solved, you'll be ready to walk into the space and take complete control of the market.
Can you tell us, I'm assuming you, as a supplier working in New Jersey, you've had to be regulated and licensed.
Actually, we don't have to be regulated and licensed.
I thought-
We're sort of because we're middleware. We've actually sat down with the regulators.
Okay.
We were cleared.
Okay.
But
not your company, but suppliers and affiliates have to be.
Exactly. That component.
So can you tell us, say, as an affiliate, what would an affiliate go through? How costly would it be? Because I mean, I'm hearing from various contacts. They're basically saying, well, yeah, New Jersey has great potential, but for example, the cost and time taken up just dealing with compliance, it basically means they don't have money to market, don't have money for CRM, for promotions, and so on and so forth. I mean, can you give us the lowdown on that kind of scenario?
Our experience with the New Jersey gaming regulators were actually really pleasant. We walked in, I'm not going to lie, we walked in rather scared. We didn't know what to expect. But it was one of the more pleasant business experiences I've ever had. They understand the industry rather well. Their background comes from finance. They're all lawyers. And they want what's good for the industry. Yeah. They understand that there needs to be a balance. They want good operators. They want good providers. They want good vendors. They want good affiliates in the market. Businesses that they can trust, and has the best interests in the state of New Jersey at heart. And if you come to the table, just like in any negotiation, prepared to show what your intentions are, I think the regulatory clearance process will be rather easy at this stage. In the early stages, when the first affiliates came to the New Jersey market, John Freeberg's company, for example, that was rather, took time. But as time goes on, I think the process is becoming a little bit easier.
I just weigh in on that?
Sure.
I think just answering where you went in terms of how complicated it is to get regulated, and as an affiliate, there's a lot more work to get involved in the market than, let's say, promoted in the UK. I'd say it's a little bit of a misconception, because in New Jersey, there's two types of licenses you can get. You can get licensed to earn on a flat fee and now on a CPA, which originally you weren't able to on a vendor registration. And now you can get ancillary license, which is a longer process. It costs money to do, and it's obviously a little bit more invasive. But as an affiliate looking right now to want to get your foot in the door in New Jersey, you can go in, get your vendor registration. It's literally a 2-page form. It doesn't cost you any money. You submit it to the brand that you're looking to work with, and they'll submit it to the DGE on your behalf. And you literally have to fill in one other form and send that to the DGE, letting them know, disclosing some of your own information. And you're ready to go pretty quickly. And a lot of it works on, once you've submitted your forms, you're tentatively given an agreement to go and promote, and then they eventually give you your license. So the process isn't very long in terms of getting in the market initially. If you're looking to earn on revenue share, and I assume a lot of you would want to long term, then it's a little bit longer of a process. But you can get in the market now while you work out the rest of that, start earning money, start getting your foot in the door, start driving traffic, and then worry about how you're going to earn revenue share in the rest of that long term. So I think there's a misconception. I think in the European market, we're also used to, you don't have to be regulated as an affiliate. I can go on my site, write a review, put someone up tomorrow, and start earning revenue right away. It was a little bit daunting that, okay, I need to, work with the government, get licensed. So I think that scared a lot of people, but the actual process behind it is not nearly as difficult. And I can tell you I've worked with 20, 30, 40 affiliates on getting it done. And the reaction every time is, wow, this wasn't as hard as we thought it was going to be. Like we said, there's a lot of people talking about, New Jersey, it's a little bit difficult. There's a lot of stuff going on. I think at the end of the day, it's not nearly as difficult as most people who are not involved in the market think it is. And I think that's one of the main takeaways we hope you get from this, is that you could get involved in it now, and it's not very difficult.
Well, talking about traffic, I mean, what are the main sources of traffic? Whether it's social, poker, where do you get the traffic from? And can you give us a rundown on that side of things as well?
From an affiliate perspective, I think there's a lot of affiliates that have U.S. traffic that are, first of all, they were not doing anything with it for a good amount of time if you were working legally in the market. So affiliates, a lot of them have traffic that is from the U.S. Now, there might be a low percentage of it from New Jersey, but we're seeing player values in New Jersey very high compared to what you would see regularly across Europe for a casino brand or for a poker brand. So because player values are so high, you don't have to be driving, tons of traffic if you're earning on a revenue share, and brands are willing to pay high CPAs in order to acquire players because they don't have as many traffic sources as you have in the European market in terms of getting traffic to your site. So it's a little bit more difficult in the market for them to drive PPC traffic. They're doing a lot of offline stuff, so affiliates definitely fit in there as a source of traffic that's more targeted, and that also, the value is quite high. So, for example, a lot of operators are comfortable paying a $300 CPA, $350 CPA for a casino player on very minimal triggers with little negotiation. You know what I mean? As long as you have the traffic you're able to send, a lot of brands are looking for it and they're willing to work with you and are willing to work with you now.
On the social space, like things are changing really fast. Like, some people think that as social gaming is like into an environment of Facebook or social platforms, like you only have the chance to acquire users through the social platform of site as Facebook ads. Like, however, affiliates now are becoming more important because the rise of user acquisition costs. If you are affiliate, you need to change your mind if you are going to go to social. Like, it's the same thing if you are user acquisition manager and you do SEM with Google AdWords or Facebook ads. It's totally different. Okay, so for that, I think. Sorry. Also, there are TV also as well as coming again. Social gaming developers are looking beyond Facebook or beyond other platforms to acquire the players. So Candy Crush, for example, has spent a lot of money on TV, and more and more developers, such as we have done TV advertising as well in Spain. And it's a good thing to acquire players. Like social developers, they are looking for CPL, they're performance based. So they are acquiring players around any channel. And for example, affiliates, like really big affiliates, could be someone who has a fan page with millions of fans, in Facebook. Or affiliate could be also as well. I think all affiliates are suffering this problem that all their users are moving to social platforms or mobile. So 50% of their traffic, of their web traffic, are already mobile right now. So mobile developers or social gaming developers, we can monetize that traffic. So I think.
And could you just give us a rundown of what are the key differences between Facebook ads and SEM with Google, for example, and what's your personal preference, for example, of working on either platform?
As we are inside the environment of Facebook, I think for social game space is better Facebook ads, and Facebook is doing really well on this thing because now Facebook, most of the revenues come from Facebook ads because all mobile developers are using Facebook ads to acquire players with their mobile install feature. That is amazing how it works. It's the best performance. Also, we can target players based on what we want. We have the look-like audience. So, for example, we segment players that we think that are good players, paying users. We upload them to the Facebook ads platform, and Facebook target that audience to acquire that player. So that's why I'm telling you that it's a different concept of marketing.
Yeah. Okay. So highly targeted and integrated into the one platform. Okay. Steve, just to come back onto poker, obviously from sort of go from one coast to another. So I have to ask about California. You hear so many different scenarios, theories, potential hypotheses. What's your
We could have a conference just on this topic alone. This one's not easy. California will take time.
Yeah.
But
it's not going to be this year. It's not going to be next year, is it?
Yeah, it definitely won't be next year. Right. But within our industry, we're all overexcited about California. Yeah. So excited that perhaps we're overlooking the more important topics. New York. MGM is spending a ton of money to get licensed and regulated within New York. Pennsylvania, very, very soon. Illinois, with Mayor Rahm Emanuel and his brother Ari Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel used to work for President Obama. We're seeing a lot of new movement. Florida's a possibility as well. Yeah. So if we don't see California immediately, it doesn't matter. There are new markets that are emerging right now. And affiliates who get into the game now in New Jersey or in other markets outside of traditional gaming, whether it be social or it can be, the majority of states right now, horse racing is legal, or daily fantasy sports. My end of the industry, of course, poker is just legal within the state of New Jersey and within the state of Nevada, and that's it. But there are other components of the industry as well that are growing really fast. And
it's the fact that it's mainly state-wide, it's all state-by-state, individual states regulating in the US. How does it affect affiliates? Does it affect them at all, or is it so they just have to tailor it slightly, obviously, to the geographical?
Obviously, it's very similar to working within Europe. Okay. You don't just cast a wide net and say, okay, we're going to own the entire European market. You tailor your content for each individual country, or perhaps each individual region. U.S. is going to have to work in a very similar way. Yeah. There will be some components of your content that can be just in English and cast a wide net, and there will be some components that will have to be geo-targeted and tailored to the individual customer. For example, we are both an affiliate and also an affiliator. Right. So we have our own affiliate program where affiliates can come to us and help us sell copies of Poker Tracker or Hold'em Manager or any of our other software licenses. But we are also have what we call a Get It Free program. And that Get It Free program allows people to earn our software for free by signing up, registering, and completing their playthrough requirements at one of our partners. We're in the middle of rolling out our New Jersey geo-targeted only Get It Free program, because we can operate just fine in New Jersey. And we also have segments that are geo-targeted to Spain, to Italy, to other major markets as well. It really will be no different.
Okay. From income access point of view, I remember I've worked quite a lot on the French market, and when it regulated, everyone said, well, many of the horse racing people specifically said they couldn't believe how uninterested people were in horse racing, because everyone was looking at poker, betting. They were the sort of glamorous, verticals, if I could call them that. And they were saying, horse racing has massive history, big wins, the draw of the big win as well, on totes as well. From income access point of view and horse racing in the US, it's still a massive industry still, even if it's had its ups and downs, but it's still a massive industry. What's your take on it from a network management perspective?
Yeah, so I do agree. I think horse racing is huge. It's a mass industry. I think there is that, I don't want to say this, almost magical feel to horse racing. Last year in the Triple Crown, I'm not a big horse racing guy. I don't watch a lot of horse racing, I'll be honest. My dad watches the Triple Crown when it comes across every year. And when California Chrome had a chance to win it, I was sitting at home on the edge of my couch watching the last race, because of course you wanted to be there watching it when someone made history. And I think that's in the US, horse racing is huge. When the big races come around every year, it's what everyone's talking about. I live in Canada, and it's on every one of our sports channels. It's what everyone's talking about on TSN, which is our biggest sports network back home on our television, and you're bombarded with it all the time. I can't really speak from how big it is when you live in the US, but I would assume it makes whatever the coverage we get in Canada very, very tiny compared to it. And yeah, the market's huge. Like you said, you can promote in the majority of the states in the US, not all of them. I'm happy to talk with everyone, whoever wants to meet afterwards and discuss where you can work in it. And you don't have to be licensed as an affiliate. So, when we're looking at opportunities in the US, yes, you can get into New Jersey now, you can get licensed, get your foot in the door, start working legally in real money, and then you can start saying, okay, I want to build up my US traffic across the rest of the US for one state to start opening up, if that's what your goal is. Or you can make real money right now in horse racing, in fantasy sports, and in social, like we talk about. Fantasy sports in the US is a whole other beast. It's insanely big. I can tell you, I live in Canada as well, like we just said, and every one of my friends plays it. And more of us are starting to look at the daily fantasy sports aspect of it. So while I'll have a pool with my friends where, we have 12 teams in the league and we share the money with ourselves, we don't do it online, I'll log into somewhere like FanDuel every weekend and put my team together and play for a chance to win big money, and also a chance to follow different players each weekend across, the sports that you like. So it's growing very quick. affiliates are able to get involved in it now, and the horse racing and fantasy sports markets are very, very big. So it's not like you're getting involved in a market that's at the beginning of its growth. They're both very big right now, and you can get involved and start driving traffic to really trusted brands.
And I guess also the fact that many of the leagues for fantasy sports are actually involved, have a stake in them, means that they're keen to promote it and share in the growth, I guess, to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, someone will take the NFL as an example. The NFL was always very big. I think it's probably the best run sports business in the world, maybe. But everyone in the NFL, from what I've read, will talk about, since fantasy sports has become big, their ratings are skyrocketing. Because you can have a game between the two worst teams in the league, but if you have half the country has one of those players on your team, you're sitting there watching that game. So they're selling, their packages for their NFL rights for all their games to people across the entire U.S. and Canada, and people are definitely watching it more, and obviously the leagues love it, I would think.
Do you think, I mean, they've obviously always been opposed to sports betting well, I mean, one of the reasons is because they have such a big stake in fantasy and they don't want to dilute it. Can you see it moving at all? I mean, New Jersey has tried to...
The topic we've been covering a lot today.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that before we came in. Yes, I think it's moving. I mean, I would what the leagues think about fantasy sports compared to what they think about in real money gambling. In fantasy sports, you're essentially pulling your bets on players doing certain things in a game, which is a lot different than having operators take single game bets on the outcome of an NFL game on a Monday night. I mean. I wouldn't say that they're similar, but you're definitely starting to see movement in New Jersey on them legalizing that offline, which is always a good step in the right direction for the market.
Actually, some of that movement just took place in the past 24 hours. A week ago, they legalized sports wagering in the state of New Jersey. Just past 24 hours, there was a court ruling. There's been a stay. And they were preparing to launch real money wagering in Monmouth. Was it Monmouth Park? Yeah, Monmouth Park in New Jersey. And they're now being put on hold temporarily. So this is a process that we're experiencing a little bit of history right now. Given time, I'm a firm believer that New Jersey will win. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take months and months and months of legal processing. But we're going to see legalized sports betting within the state of New Jersey given time. This will be a watershed moment, and it'll create new opportunities for the affiliate market in New Jersey. And then slowly but surely it'll trickle out. I think an important takeaway for this conference will be that throughout, when people view the U.S., they think of one country. Just like when they view England, they think of the U.K. Or they'll view Italy by itself as an autonomous entity. But the U.S. is more like the EU. It's actually 50 separate states working underneath one federal government. You have to deal with the regulatory compliance within the states, as well as at a federal level in certain scenarios. And especially when you cross state lines, then the feds also get involved. So the best way to approach the U.S. market is on a market-by-market basis, just like you would do the exact same way here in Europe.
Well, we come towards the end of the panel. I mean, just out of interest, are any of you guys involved in U.S. affiliate market? Okay, that says a few. Okay, well, let's open up the panel to the floor. Any questions?
My questions actually has more to do with the social casino side of for the affiliate programs. The big problem that I seem to be running into, or I think a lot of us running, is tracking. I mean, how well does the tracking work? What's the tracking mechanism? Because every time, I mean, not for all, but it seems like when we get them to the store to download the app or make the purchase, we lose track of the customer. And so, how do you go about doing that? Is it reliable? And what are we looking at in terms of tracking the customer through that process?
Okay, on the website on Facebook, it's really similar to web. Okay, it's really easy. The biggest problem came from mobile, the mobile aspect, because if you send a visit or a click to the App Store, you lose any tracking. So there are emerging tracking solutions that work beyond the App Store or the Google Play Store and your app. Is the fingerprint food, I think it's called. Like when the user go to the App Store, it's open the navigator, the web browser, and with a pixel. Okay, and when the app you must integrate into your app the SDK of that solution, and it matches later with that pixel. So it's difficult. But however, you need a partner to do that. So in that case, we can do it.
At Income Access, what we've started doing recently, obviously when we launched most of our social brands, it was through Facebook, and we worked on the tracking with that for affiliates. We've just recently pretty much finished off our tracking, a project we put together for tracking to app, which we're starting to integrate with a few different clients now. No one in the social space yet, but that'll come. So we'll be able to track, let's say from your website, you want to send people directly to an app, or from your mobile site, we'll be able to track their journey through the app. So that'll be, if what you're looking for in terms of worries and not being able to track that, we'll be able to handle that in the future and moving forward.
Hi, my name is Melissa Blau. I'm a consultant to a number of operators in the U.S. I work for Tropicana. We launched Tropicana Casino in New Jersey. Two things. One is for people that are interested in doing marketing in the U.S., beyond what you guys were saying on the complications, it's from an administrative standpoint also very difficult, because all the promotions that you need to give have to go through the DGE, and all the contracts that you submit also have to go through the DGE. So it's a quite cumbersome process. What they've launched also as part of the ancillary is the ability to call what they call a master affiliate. So if you don't want to go through all the licensing process, you can work with a master affiliate and just have to go through the vendor registration. So that's just what I want to say about the affiliate and the admin side. It's quite cumbersome. But there's something that a bunch of us who are getting our ancillary license, and a number of others. So it's not just for people that are getting the ancillary, but for anyone interested in marketing. What we had found was that a lot of the regulators and the operators didn't fully understand the marketing side of the business. And so we launched something for those who want to get involved called sigmatrusted.org. It's called Sigma. And it's for people who are interested in working on the marketing side to understand the industry better. It's to help regulators understand what the affiliates are about, what the marketing's about. And anyone who wants to get involved or wants more information, just please come to me afterwards.
And I think, just to touch on that, I think that's really important. We definitely noticed when Income Access, we got involved in the market, launching a bunch of affiliate programs, that there was a bit of a learning curve for the regulators in New Jersey to understand what an affiliate does, how you interact with the business, and kind of how important you are to the growth of brands. So we worked very close to DG. People like Melissa and their group have worked really close to the two. And I know we'll be working more closely together with them, obviously, in terms of helping regulators and affiliates understand how to market in the States, and the importance that everyone in this room will play to the growth of that market.
Any more questions? Last couple of minutes? No? Okay. Well, I've got one or two final ones. Obviously, you're Canadian, you're into poker. I have to ask about Amaya, Poker Stars. Okay, when's it coming into New Jersey? Does it make a difference? Does it matter to Amaya ultimately? Because I've heard people saying, well, do you know what? It's just one of many acquisitions Amaya are looking to make. They're looking at sportsbook. They're looking at, other, maybe social even, who knows. And if the US happens, great. But meanwhile, rest of the world, it's a huge market. What's your take on it from a...
So I think kind of like Steve said, there's a lot of talk in the industry about everything that's going on in the US, and obviously Poker Stars is a big topic. I was at G2E in Las Vegas about 2.5 weeks ago, and I can tell you that was obviously a big topic there as well. I would think it definitely matters to Amaya that it would go live eventually, and I would say it definitely matters to the market that it would. Poker Stars, we all agree, is a great product. I think most people prefer playing on that than a lot of other poker products. And in the state of New Jersey, I think, there's a lot of hype around it going into that market. So, I think Steve can speak a little bit more in terms of the impact it'll have on poker, but, I think we'd all be a little bit misguided to say that it won't have a good effect on the market and that it won't be a big part of what New Jersey does moving forward. But I'll let Steve give you his opinion on it.
Presumably, Steve, you would welcome their arrival.
Of course. Just a little caveat: we're actually a partner with PokerStars. We're one of the sponsors of the European Poker Tour. But I think Amaya's goal here is it's a little complex. There's talk about moving some of their licenses, some of their servers over to the state of New Jersey. That's really what New Jersey wants. Then there's what Amaya wants. Amaya wants as much freedom as possible. They want to be able to continue servicing the gray markets. They don't want to lose the revenue from Russia. They don't want to lose the revenue from Canada. So I think it's still a little too early in the game for any of us to sit back and make any honest predictions. I don't think we're going to see any official word until after Election Day, November 4th. So maybe November 10th, maybe November 20th. That's when we're going to start to see a better picture of what will take place.
Presidential elections?
I'm sorry?
Sorry, well, the U.S. presidential?
Oh, not presidential, no. But there is every year around November 4th.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry. Okay.
But it's in the end still politics.
Yeah.
And we're still we're at the very beginning stages of this industry within the state of New Jersey. And it's very politically charged. Yeah. So the best thing to do is avoid the election process and move forward. So that's my rough prediction. We'll start to have a better understanding of Amaya's future within the state within a month.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, wait for the local elections.
Yeah, I think until then it's just a little too early to make any guesstimates.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we'll come to the end of our panel. If we could thank the panelists. It's really interesting information they provided us with today. Oh, Alan wanted to mention.
If anyone wants to talk about the U.S. market, have any conversations about opportunities, the Income Access booth is literally right outside this door, so feel free to pass by, and we're happy to chat with anyone here.
So after this message, we'll be... yeah, that's it. It's possible. Yeah, good move. All right, well, thank you very much for all. If we could give them a round of applause. And we'll be on to the next panel at 12 o'clock, well, just about now.